Your IRA might be setting you up for your biggest tax bill in retirement. Let's say you retire at 65 with a $2 million IRA. If that account grows at 6% per year, you're looking at roughly $3 million by the time RMDs begin. At that level, your first RMD will be over $100,000, and it doesn't stay there. The IRS increases the percentage you're required to take each year. Even if the account grows at just a reasonable pace, your distributions rise for two reasons at the same time. The first is because the balance is growing, and the second because the withdrawal percentage increases every year. And the percentages move faster than most people realize. When you first start, they're just under 4%, but by the time you're in your 90s, they exceed 8% or more. Even in a flat market, your distributions are still going to increase just because of the IRS schedule alone. And by your early 80s, it's not unusual to see RMDs that exceed $200,000 or higher. And every dollar of this will be taxed at ordinary income tax rates. You'll have to stack that on top of your Social Security income, your pension income if you have one, interest and dividends from taxable accounts, capital gains, and potential rental income if you own property. And all of that will flow onto the same tax return. So what starts out as a controlled situation in your 60s can become a compressed income problem later on. And this is all outside of your control. The IRS is choosing all of this for you. You're being forced to recognize income in years where you may already be in a higher tax bracket, instead of being able to spread it out over lower income years earlier in retirement. And that creates pressure in multiple areas at the same time. For one, your marginal tax rate increases because more of your income is pushed into higher brackets. But more importantly, you lose the ability to manage your bracket. Before RMDs, you can decide how much income to realize each year. But after RMDs begin, a large portion of your income is fixed whether you need it or not. Your Medicare premiums will increase through IRMAA, which determines your premiums based off income from 2 years prior. So there's a lag effect that catches a lot of people off guard, and the jumps aren't gradual. You can go from one threshold to the next with just a small increase in income, and your premiums can rise by thousands per year as a result. And then as your income increases, your Social Security benefit will become more taxable, up to 85%, depending on how your total income stacks up. And at that point, each additional dollar you withdraw isn't just taxed once, it can trigger additional layers of cost. In many cases, the effective rate on that marginal dollar is materially higher than your stated tax bracket, because that $1 can increase your federal tax, your Medicare premiums, and the taxable portion of Social Security. And if the account performs well, which of course you want it to do, the problem just accelerates. A larger balance leads to larger RMDs. Larger RMDs increase your taxable income, and higher income pushes you further into IRMAA thresholds and higher tax brackets. So growth inside the IRA can actually work against you from a tax perspective if it's not managed. And there's no cap on any of this. The system keeps scaling with the size of the account. Then eventually, this shifts to the next generation. So if your kids are in their peak earning years, that inherited IRA gets layered on top of their existing income, which can push them into significantly higher tax brackets very quickly. So you can end up taking what was a tax-deferred asset and converting it into a concentrated tax event for them. So instead of long-term tax efficiency, it turns into a forced acceleration of income. And at that point, the timing is even worse than your own RMD problem, because now the distributions are happening during their highest earning years instead of during your lower income retirement years. And this doesn't happen all at once. It builds slowly, and most people don't even see it coming. They just enjoy watching their IRA grow and paying lower taxes than they did during their working years. But it's this complacency that leads to big problems down the line, because once RMDs begin, your options are limited. The window where you had the most control was the 5 to 10 years before RMDs started. That's when income is lower and you have flexibility to make adjustments. After that, you're mostly just reacting instead of planning. And that's how an IRA can turn from a valuable asset into a long-term tax liability if it's left unmanaged. If you want to keep learning, watch this video right here.